Hi again, everyone. This is Dan from Prayer Warriors, and today I'm continuing in the topic of Samson, a he-man with a sheep problem, and this is part two. Um, so Samson, at this point, had thrown a feast to celebrate the upcoming wedding, and 30 Philistines showed up. As they were no doubt drinking, Samson posed a riddle that they had 7 days to solve, and he wagered them 30 linen garments and 30 changes of clothes. Now, the riddle is in Judges 14, verse 14. Out of the eater came something to eat, and out of the strong came something sweet. The men put pressure on his fiancée and threatened to burn her and her family. And so, as a result, she nagged Samson every day until he finally told her that last night. She promptly told the Philistines the answer, and they replied to him, "What's sweeter than honey and stronger than a lion?" And that was the correct answer. And Samson replied that they couldn't possibly have known that unless they'd plowed with his heifer. Now, if I said that about my fiance years ago, I'd need supernatural strength like he had to recover from the frying pan upside my head. Samson did make good on the wager, and it's kind of a good news, bad news thing. The good news is I'm going to pay off the debt. The bad news is I'm killing 30 of your countrymen in order to do it. In the meantime, Samson's fiancée was given in marriage to his best man while he was back at his father's house, no doubt upset and pouting. Now you can read about the exploits in the links below, how Samson caught and tied up 300 foxes tail to tail and put torches between the tails and set them upon the Philistines' grain, vineyards, and olive groves. After that, you can read about how Samson killed 1,000 Philistines with the jawbone of an ass. This is an example of where God uses the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. Another time, Samson was with a harlot in Gaza, and the Philistines surrounded where he was, but he broke out and carried the city gate with him to Hebron in an incredible display of God's strength working within him. Now, Samson was blessed by God, but because he was so rebellious with his vow, God allowed him to be captured through the wiles of Delilah. He should have learned his lesson from his fiancée, who was also a Philistine. Delilah pestered him into telling her about his hair being the source of his power after he pranked her a few times previously. Now, I don't think he really believed that that was the source of his power because at that time he rose up to fight the Philistines as he had before, and he was surprised that he didn't have the strength. Now, his hair, as I said before, was really just a symbol of his Nazirite vow. The vow was a conduit for God's strength to flow through him. You can read the ending of the story of how his eyes were put out and how he asked the Lord, and the Lord did this, to renew his strength one last time. And the Lord mercifully did that. Samson killed more Philistines, it says, in his death than he had throughout his life. Well, the moral of this story is, I believe, it's one that the late Pastor Chuck Smith told. And that was that God will do for you the very best he can at whatever level you meet him. Whatever your level of faith is, God will respect your level of faith. Samson accomplished quite a bit throughout his life. He judged Israel for 20 years. But what could he have done if he was faithful to his vow and really served the Lord at all times? You know, what greater things would he have accomplished? Okay, the links are below, and may God bless you.